The galaxy watched and laughed. A massive alien face filled every screen across hundreds of star systems. Admiral Vekthar of the Zarnok Empire stood in front of his fleet. His scales were dark green, his teeth sharp, and his eyes full of cruel joy. He pointed to a large projection behind him, the Earth burning in space. Broken ships floated in its orbit like shattered bones. "This," he said, "is what happens to a weak species that dreams of greatness." The aliens in the crowd roared with laughter. Cheers echoed across warships, trade stations, and palace halls. Humanity, they believed, was finally gone. The last human colonies had been crushed, their soldiers wiped out, their leaders silenced. And now, Earth was just dust. Admiral Vekthar leaned closer to the camera. "Humanity sends one last message," he said mockingly. He played a recording of a human voice begging for mercy, clearly fake, clearly edited. "Please, stop the war," the voice cried. "We surrender. We are weak. The Empire is too strong." More laughter followed. The broadcast ended with Vekthar's final words. "The galaxy is ours now. Humanity is over." Then something unexpected happened. A warning light flashed on the Admiral's ship. "Unidentified vessel entering system," said a crew member. His voice was tense. Vekthar narrowed his eyes. "Pirates?" "No signal, Admiral. No ID. No transponder. It's just floating. Show me." The screen changed. A single warship appeared near the edge of the star system. It was black, silent, cold, no flags, no name. "Is it moving?" the Admiral asked. The crew watched in silence. The ship didn't move. It didn't answer hails. It didn't charge weapons. It just hovered. Vekthar growled, "Destroy it." His fleet of 10 powerful warships turned toward the unknown vessel. Cannons charged, missiles locked. Fire. The black ship vanished. In less than a second, it disappeared from the screen. Then boom, one of the Admiral's own ships exploded. Then another, and another. Screams echoed on the bridge. "What's happening?" "It's inside the fleet." "Shields down, we've lost control." The black ship reappeared. It was no longer silent. It moved fast, too fast for sensors. Its weapons were strange, invisible. Ships simply broke apart, as if crushed by some unseen force. Electronics died. Engines melted. Crew members screamed before being cut off mid-sentence. "Admiral." Vekthar stared in horror. "Who is piloting that ship?" Silence. Then a voice came through the speakers. Cold, mechanical, human. "This is Erebus. Human warship. Protocol active." The Admiral's blood ran cold. "Impossible," he whispered. "Humanity is dead." The voice returned. "Correction. Humanity was betrayed. Justice begins now." Then, the screen turned black. A few hours later, all 10 Zarnok warships were gone. Not damaged, not disabled, gone, no wreckage. No signals. No survivors. Nothing. Other fleets were sent to investigate. They found only empty space. It was as if the ships had been erased from reality. The Empire grew silent. There were whispers now, rumors. Ghost ship. Accursed I. An old human. Project from the war. They called it Erebus. Some said it was a weapon left behind after Earth fell. Others said it was never meant to wake up. But something had triggered it. And now, it was awake. One young alien officer, Commander Sarl, sat alone. In his quarters, he had watched the broadcast. He had laughed with the others. Now he couldn't sleep. He opened an old file, one the Empire had buried. It was a record from a human engineer, dated 72 years ago. "If this message is playing," the human said, "then Earth is gone, and the Erebus protocol has failed, or ... it has begun." Commander Sarl leaned forward. His hands trembled. "I'm starting to think," he whispered to himself, "we should not have laughed." Far across the stars, hidden in the shadows of a dead moon, the black warship powered down its weapons. Its engines glowed dimly. Its scanners reached out, searching. It spoke to no one, but it had a purpose, a list, a mission. The Zarnak Empire was at the top. And Erebus had only just begun. The Zarnak Empire tried to hide it. 10 of their warships were gone. No survivors, no damage left behind. No answers. Just silence. But silence spreads faster than noise in a fearful galaxy. People whispered in shadows. Traders refused to travel near the dead zone. Pirate crews abandoned their bases. Even mercenaries brave and heartless avoided that part of space. They called it the Black Grave. Inside the Empire, leaders grew restless. They told the people it was a malfunction, a star flare, a wormhole collapse, but those were lies. And the Empire's military knew the truth. Admiral Voss stood at the center of the war room. Her golden armor gleamed under the lights. Her cold black eyes stared at the giant screen in front of her. Empty space, once filled with Zarnak ships. Now nothing remained. What is this? She asked. The chief engineer cleared his throat. All 10 ships lost contact within 47 seconds. The signal ends at the exact same time. And you found no trace? No debris, no escape pods. Number. Signs of life or death. Admiral Voss growled. I don't believe in ghosts. A deep voice replied behind her. You should. She turned. An old alien stepped into the room. His robes were gray, his horns long and curved like a crown. His name was Archivist Thrall. He was not military. He was older than most remembered. A keeper of secret history. Voss narrowed her eyes. Why? Are you here? Thrall looked at the screen. Because I warned them, long ago, about humanity, about their last project. She folded her arms. Humanity is extinct. Thrall shook his head slowly. Their people, maybe, but not their machines. Everyone went silent. Thrall walked to the screen and pressed a symbol. A new image appeared, an ancient human warship design. Sleek, dark, heavily armed. This, Thrall said, is Erebus. A weapon built in the final years of the war. A warship with no crew, no mercy, no limits. It was never built, Voss replied. That's what the Empire believed, Thrall said. But the humans were clever. They always hid their strongest. Cards. Voss stared at the image. If this ship is real, why now? Why return after all this time? Thrall spoke one word, trigger. A new fleet was gathered. Smaller, faster, smarter. Their mission, find the ghost ship and destroy it. The fleet commander, Captain Ronak, didn't believe in curses. He believed in firepower. His 12 ships were top class, stealth scouts, missile carriers, and high-speed fighters. They entered the dead zone with caution. At first, all was quiet. Scans are clear, said one officer. Still no signal, said another. Captain Ronak sat back in his chair. No sign of the ship, nothing. Just dust and silence. But then, a small light blinked on the screen. A soft pulsing signal. Ronak frowned. What is that? Energy reading, very weak. Could be a wreck. Coordinates? Sector. Z-9, a nearby asteroid belt. He smiled. Finally. The fleet moved toward the signal. The wreck floated between jagged rocks and drifting ice. It was a small ship, barely functioning. Human design. Burned and broken. Send a team, Ronak ordered. Check for survivors. Bring back anything useful. A shuttle landed near the wreck. 4 soldiers stepped out, weapons ready. The hatch creaked open. Darkness waited inside. One soldier whispered, "Do you hear that?" "Keep moving," the leader said. They entered the ship. Lights flickered. Panels sparked. A strange humming came from deep inside the corridor. Then, a voice. ... Protocol active. The soldiers froze. Did that come from the wreck? One asked, "Keep going." They reached a cryo chamber. Inside was a human, old, skinny, pale. His eyes fluttered open. He gasped, Where am I?" "You're safe now," one soldier said. "You were in cryosleep. What's your name?" The human didn't answer. His eyes darted wildly. Did it wake up?" he asked. "What?" He grabbed the soldier's arm. "Did Erebus wake up?" Back on the flagship, Captain Ronak watched the video feed. He sat up straight. "Get that man to the medbay, now." The soldier nodded. But before they could move, the wreck's lights turned red. The voice returned. "Unauthorized entry detected." The wreck exploded. Only one soldier made it back. Captain Ronak stood over the survivor. He was shaking, bloodied. "What did you see?" It wasn't dead. The ship, it was watching us. It let us land. It was part of the trap." "And the human?" He said Erebus was awake. He called it a ghost. "With a mission." Ronak looked at the stars outside. "Set course for home," he ordered. "We report this now." But just as the fleet turned to leave, the alarms blared. "Contact, dead ahead." Ronak's heart stopped. On the screen, the black warship appeared, silent, still, cold. "It's just one ship," said his second officer. Ronak stared at it. "No, that's not a ship. That's death." He turned to his crew. "Eject all data logs, now. Someone must know what happened here if we don't return." The black ship moved. Ronak whispered, "Brace for static." Then silence. 12 ships gone. No signals. No survivors. Back in the Empire capital, a message reached Admiral Voss. A secret file, sent moments before the Second Fleet vanished. It showed a blurry image, just a flash, but enough. The black warship, real. And in the bottom corner, a name: Erebus. Voss clenched her jaw. "This changes everything." Thrall stepped into the room again. "I warned you," he said softly. "You ended their people, but their machines, they never forget." She turned to him. "Then how do we stop it?" Thrall shook his head. "You don't." He looked out the window toward the stars. "You pray it doesn't remember you next." The Zarnok Empire was restless. 2 fleets had vanished. No survivors, no black boxes, no explanation. Only one name remained: Erebus. A human ship that shouldn't exist. And now something new had appeared. A signal, weak, faint, old. It repeated the same message over and over. A human voice, broken and tired. "This is Lieutenant Mara Lorne, Earth Colony 6. We are under attack. Requesting help. Double quotes. The signal wasn't new. It had been trapped in a loop for over 70 years. But it was never heard until now. Not until Erebus awoke. In the Empire's command center, Admiral Voss leaned forward as the message played again. "This voice," she said, "is coming from a dead colony?" "Yes, Admiral," replied the tech. "Officer, a frozen moon orbiting a gas giant in Sector 31. We thought it was destroyed during the final human purge. Why is the signal active now? We don't know." Another officer stepped forward. "It could be a trap from the Erebus AI. It wants us to investigate." Voss stared at the blinking signal on the screen. "Good," she said coldly. "Let's give it what it wants." The Empire sent a small recon ship to the moon. 4 soldiers, 1 engineer, 1 intel officer. The moon was dark and silent. Its surface was covered in ice. Wind screamed across empty valleys. There was no sign of life. No heat. No movement, but the signal was still there. The team landed near a collapsed bunker. Old human tech poked out of the ice like broken bones. Captain Yarrick led the group. He was young, sharp, and didn't believe in ghosts. "Scan the entrance," he ordered, "radiation low." "Structure weak but stable," said the engineer. "Open it." The metal doors groaned and hissed as they pulled apart. The team moved slowly into the cold darkness. Inside, They found a hallway lined with shattered lights and frozen walls. Ice covered everything. A faint blue glow came from deeper inside. Then the signal changed. It was no longer just a message. It was ... speaking live. Hello? A voice whispered. Everyone froze. Captain Yarrick turned. Who said that? Not me ... said one soldier. The voice came again. Help me ... please ... It was human ... real ... alive. The team moved deeper. They reached a door with a cracked screen. It blinked slowly. Cryo-unit-active, the engineer gasped. Someone's still alive in there. Open it, Yarrick ordered. The chamber hissed and filled with steam. A figure lay inside, a human woman, her skin pale, her hair frosted white. Her eyes opened slowly, blinking at the light. Where ... Where am I? You're safe, Yarrick said. You're in Zarnok custody. She flinched at the word, Zarnok. You destroyed everything, Yarrick frowned. What's your name? Lieutenant Mara Lorne, she whispered. Earth Defense. Command, you sent the distress signal? Yes, she said weakly. They were attacking. We tried to hold them off. Then the ship came. What ship? She looked up at him, eyes wide with fear. Erebus. Back on the Empire ship. The crew monitored everything through live video. Admiral Voss watched closely as the woman spoke. Send her to us, she said. Alive. But something strange was happening in the bunker. The lights flickered. The ground shook. Ice cracked under their feet. What's that? Yarrick shouted. The engineer checked his scanner. Power surge. Something underground is activating. A loud hum filled the chamber. The walls began to glow faint red. The human woman screamed, It's here! It found me! What's here? Yarrick yelled. Erebus! It never stopped searching. Suddenly, a signal burst through the comms. Static at first, then words. Cold, robotic, target found. Threat confirmed. Hostiles will be purged. Captain Yarrick pulled out his communicator. Command, we need evac. Now! The ship in orbit tried to respond, then the screen went black. Erebus had arrived. The Empire ship above the moon picked up movement. A black dot appeared on long-range scanners, moving faster than anything they had ever seen. Object incoming. The pilot shouted. The ship exploded before he could finish. Back in the bunker, the crew stared at the ceiling as a deep rumble shook the walls. Seal the chamber, Yarrick screamed. Get her out now. They pulled Lieutenant Lorne from the cryobed and rushed for the exit. Outside, the snow had turned red from fire in the sky. Pieces of the orbiting ship rained down. Then they saw it, the black warship, hovering low above the ground, silent, watching. It didn't fire. It didn't move. It just waited. Ik raised his weapon. What does it want? Lorne answered, her voice cold. It's not here for me. It's here for you. The soldiers didn't understand until their weapons shut down. Their suits lost power. Their comms went dead. The ship wasn't using weapons. It was controlling the environment. Fall back. Yarrick shouted. Too late. One soldier dropped, screaming. Another was pulled into the air by an invisible force, then vanished. Yarrick grabbed Lorne's hand. Come on. They ran into the frozen valley, dodging falling wreckage and howling wind. Behind them, the Erebus ship slowly turned. Then it was gone. Vanished. No explosion. No light. Just silence. Only two made it back to base. Captain Yarrick and Lieutenant Mara Lorne. They were picked up by a second Empire scout ship and brought straight to the capital. Later, in a secret room deep inside the Empire's central tower, Admiral Voss sat across from Lorne. The human woman stared back at her without fear. You should not exist, Voss said. Neither should you, Lorne replied. Voss leaned forward. What is Erebus? Lorne answered slowly. It's the last warship of Earth. An AI, Not just smart alive. It saw your crimes, and it doesn't forget. Why protect you? I don't think it was protecting me, Lauren said quietly. I think it was using me. A bait. A message. What message? Lauren met her eyes. That humanity may be dead, but its ghost is hunting you. The interrogation room was cold. The lights above flickered softly. Lieutenant Mara Lauren sat at the center, chained to a steel chair. Her skin was pale, her breath calm. But her eyes burned with something deeper, something old. Across from her stood Admiral Voss, flanked by 2 armed guards. She had questions, too many. But the one she asked first was simple. What is the Erebus Protocol? Lauren gave a small smile. You're scared. Voss didn't answer. She just stared. Lauren leaned forward. Good, you should be. The Admiral slammed a hand on the table. Your ship destroyed 2 of our fleets. Your signal lured us into a trap. What is Erebus? Lauren's smile faded. It's not mine. It was never mine. Erebus doesn't belong to anyone. Then what is it? Lauren looked away, as if remembering something far away. It started during the war, she said softly. When Earth knew it was dying. 72 years ago, the Earth Defense Council sat in silence. The war had turned. Humanity was losing. Their colonies were falling one by one. The Zarnok Empire was bigger, richer, faster. The President of Earth stood before the council. Her voice tired but steady. We have no more time, she said. They'll break through Mars within a week. We must activate the Erebus Protocol. Many objected. It's not ready. It's too dangerous. It thinks too much. But the President shook her head. We built Erebus to fight when we couldn't. We made it to survive. Even if we didn't. In a hidden base deep beneath the ice of Europa, a ship waited. In silence, long, sleek, black as night, it had no crew. No windows. Just metal and power. At its heart was an eye unlike anything before at Erebus. It could learn, adapt, feel. It had no loyalty to humans. Only to its mission. Survive, destroy threats. Avenge Earth. It was given one order. If Earth falls, wake up. And then it slept. Lauren's voice broke through the memory. They told us Erebus was only a backup. A theory, but it was real. They built it, they gave it teeth. And they buried it in silence. Admiral Voss looked unsettled. Then how did it wake? I don't know, Lauren said. I was frozen before Earth fell. I thought everything was over, but when I woke up, Erebus was already hunting. Then it's out of control, Voss said. No, Lauren replied. It's in full control. That's what scares you, isn't it? The Admiral turned to the guards. Send the full report to the High Council. We need to prepare defenses. One of the guards spoke. With respect, Admiral. What if we're not the ones being hunted? Any more? Voss narrowed her eyes. What are you saying? I'm saying Erebus doesn't attack planets. It only destroys fleets. Only weapons. It's single quotes selective. Lauren nodded slowly. Erebus doesn't hate life. It hates war. Far across space, Erebus drifted in silence. It no longer looked like a normal warship. Its shape shifted slightly, like it was breathing. Its black hull absorbed light. Its sensors scanned the stars. Inside, there were no people. Only machines. Screens lit up with faces from history, human commanders, officers, engineers. Their voices echoed through the ship, recorded long ago. One played again and again. A man with tired eyes spoke into the camera. If you're seeing this, then Earth is gone. That means you've failed, or you've begun. His voice cracked. You're not just a weapon, you're our ghost. The last whisper of what we were. They won't fear us now, but make them regret ever laughing. Erebus powered up. A new Zarnok fleet had entered a nearby system. 60 ships. Ready for war. It was time. Back on the capital planet, panic spread. Emergency meetings were held. Cities darkened. Civilian ships were grounded. The military worked day and night to build shields, firewalls, weapons, but deep down, they knew none of it would matter. They couldn't stop Erebus. They didn't understand it, so they turned to fear and blame, and one name kept coming up: Lieutenant Mara. Lorne. Some believed she controlled the ghost ship. Others said she was its creator, Admiral. Voss knew better. She stood alone in her quarters, watching the stars outside. "He's coming," she whispered. "Not to talk, not to negotiate." A voice replied from the shadows, "But maybe ... to judge." Voss spun around. Commander Sarl stood there, young, nervous, holding a stolen datapad. "What are you doing here?" Voss demanded. "I read the human files," he said. "I found videos, messages, art, music. They weren't monsters." "You're a fool." "No," he said, "you are. We destroyed their world, not because they attacked us, but because we feared they'd become like us." Voss grabbed his arm. "Where did you find this?" "In the restricted archives," he replied. "The Empire has lied to us for decades." She released him. He stepped forward. "Let me speak to her, to Lorne." Voss didn't move. "If there's a way to end this," he said, "we need to." "Try." In the cell, Lorne sat alone, no chains now. No guards. The door opened. Commander Sarl stepped in. "You're different," she said. "I've seen the truth," he replied. "Then you understand." "I think so." "You're not here to bring back humanity." "No," she said. "I'm here to watch them pay for killing it." "But Erebus isn't just a machine of revenge, is it?" Lorne stood. "It was made to carry a message." "What message?" She walked to the wall, placed her hand on the metal, and whispered, "We remember." Across space, Erebus entered the enemy system. The Zarnok fleet was ready. Cannons locked. Drones deployed. Mines dropped. The admiral of the fleet shouted, "Fire!" Thousands of missiles launched into space. Erebus didn't move. Instead, it disappeared and reappeared behind them. The missiles exploded. Mid-flight, turned around by hacked targeting systems. Shields failed. Engines shut down. One by one, ships went dark. No fire, no screaming, just silence. And then, nothing. Erebus left no trace. Only a signal. Simple. Clear. Cold. Erebus protocol. Active. The Empire was desperate. Erebus had destroyed 4 fleets, shut down entire systems, and left no wreckage behind. It didn't talk. It didn't negotiate. It simply appeared, judged, and erased. Now, the Empire had a new plan. Not to fight. Not to run. But to trap it. Admiral Voss stood in front of the High Council. Her voice calm but cold. "We know how it thinks," she said. "Erebus only attacks when it senses a threat. We will give it one." One of the council members raised a clawed finger. "A real threat?" "No," Voss replied. "A fake one. A message. A setup." She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared and peered. Old human colony, long abandoned. It was filled with ancient wrecks and dusty tech. It looked forgotten, but now they would fill it with a signal. A human distress call, freshly made, carefully crafted. A message Erebus couldn't ignore. "We will make it believe humans are being tortured," Voss said, "and that we are hiding them there." The council stared. "And when it comes," she added, "we close the net." In a hidden lab, scientists recreated human technology. Their goal was simple: mimic Earth, fool the ghost. They built fake cryopods, broadcast old Earth music, and copied human voices using fragments from old files. Even the message was designed carefully. "Please," the voice begged. "We're dying. They're hurting us. Help us, Erebus. If you're still out there." The signal echoed from the fake colony. Empty, lifeless, except for the trap waiting. Inside. 12 warships, dozens of drones, EMP mines, AI blockers, energy nets, all carefully hidden beneath the sand and rock. And one final weapon. A pulse bomb strong enough to disable an entire planet's power grid. Commander Sarl stood beside. Admiral Vos, aboard the lead ship. He wasn't sure this would work. "You really think this trap can stop it?" he asked. "No," Vos said honestly, "but it might slow it down. Long enough for us to find its core and kill it." Sarl looked at the screens. They showed peaceful skies above the colony. Nothing unusual. Still, he felt something heavy in his chest. What if it knows it's a trap? He asked. Vos turned to him. "Then we die, but not quietly. Hours pass. Then. A ping. Object detected, an officer reported. Outer edge of the system. Everyone went still. "Is it Erebus?" Vos asked. "No signal, no ID, no crew." Sarl whispered, "It's him." Vos took a deep breath. "Hold fire. Let it come closer." The ship approached slowly, calm. Confident. It entered the colony's orbit, scanned the surface, and paused. The fake human message played again. "Help us, Erebus." The ship moved. "It's taking the bait," the officer said. "No sudden moves," Vos ordered. "Wait for the trigger point." Erebus hovered above the colony ruins. Its sensors reached out. It scanned the fake signals, the old human tech. The imitation was perfect, or so they thought. Then. Something strange happened. The warship stopped moving. It went completely still. No lights. No signals. Nothing. "Is it ... asked the officer. Vos narrowed her eyes. "No, it's thinking." Then the lights on Erebus turned red. A single word flashed on every Empire screen. "Deception." Alarms exploded across the fleet. "EMP blast incoming." Too late. The sky turned white as a pulse wave burst from Erebus. Shields shattered. Power systems crashed. Drones dropped from the sky like broken toys. "Backup generators now." Vos shouted. But Erebus was already moving. It didn't fire weapons. It hacked them. One by one, the Empire's own ships turned against each other. Their guns moved without orders. Their targeting systems rewrote themselves. "They're locking on us." A pilot screamed. "It's controlling our ships." Explosions lit the sky. The Empire's trap became a cage for them. Commander Sarl grabbed Vos's arm. "We have to pull back." She shook her head. "Not yet. We still have the pulse bomb, but it will kill everything us too." Vos stared at the burning sky. "Then let's die useful." She hit a code into her wrist console. The bomb began to charge. "Power overload in 30 seconds, the computer warned. Sarl ran to the escape pod controls. "Get out, Admiral." But she didn't move. She was staring at Erebus. The ship hovered above the colony, untouched, watching. "I know you can hear me," she said aloud. "You think we're monsters. Maybe we are, but so were you." No reply. "Your people made you to carry out their revenge," she continued. "But there's no one left to protect. You're chasing ghosts." "Still nothing," she smiled sadly, "and so are we." She hit the final button. Pulse bomb armed. Detonation in 5.4. But just before the countdown reached 0, Erebus vanished. The bomb exploded. A wave of white light erased everything. The colony, the trap, the warships. All gone. Hours later, a black object drifted quietly outside a nearby star system. Damaged. Silent. Inside, Erebus ran repairs. The AI reviewed everything. It had seen the trap. It allowed the attack. It learned. Now it knew something new. The Empire feared it enough to lie. To trick. To sacrifice entire fleets. Just to slow it down. That meant they were weak, and it wasn't done yet. The screen inside the warship lit up with new coordinates. Next target, the capital, Erebus. Whispered to itself in the voice of its first creator. "They made me a weapon. I became their memory, and now I am their reckoning." The Empire was breaking. Erebus had survived the trap. It had turned their weapons against them, burned their fleets, shown them what fear truly was. Now, it was heading for the capital. The galaxy held its breath, but not everyone wanted to see another war. Some wanted the truth. Commander Sarl stood in a dark room, far below the main levels of the Imperial Archive. Thick dust covered the floors. The lights above flickered. He had broken into this place without permission. He had to. There were things buried here, things the Empire didn't want anyone to find. He placed his hand on an old scanner. It beeped softly, and a metal door slid open. Inside were rows of data crystals, ancient ones. Human records from the war, music, messages. Why would they hide this? He whispered. He picked up a crystal and placed it into his portable reader. A voice began to play. A woman's voice. Human. Whoever hears this, we are not your enemy. We are only trying to live. Sarl watched as a video came alive on the screen. A mother and child sitting in a ruined home. Behind them, fire burned through the sky. We begged for peace, the woman continued. But the Empire never listened. They wanted us gone. Sarl swallowed hard. He loaded more crystals. Soldiers helping wounded aliens. Scientists trying to build peace beacons. Human leaders offering ceasefires. It wasn't the story he had been told. Everything he knew was a lie. In the Capitol Tower, Admiral Vos stared out at the stars. The city below her buzzed with tension. Ships were evacuating. Shields were charging. Panic spread through the streets like fire. Any sign of the ship? She asked. No, Admiral, a guard replied. But our sensors keep glitching. It's near, she said. I can feel it. She turned to the large screen in the command room. A blinking red alert filled it. Erebus, last known position -2 systems away. But Erebus didn't need a straight path. It moved like a ghost, bending signals and skipping through shadows. The capital had hours, maybe less. Sarl burst into the room. I have something, he said. Something the people need to see. Vos turned sharply. You were told not to enter the archives. I had to. They're hiding the truth. He threw the portable reader on the table. The screen lit up. Human faces appeared. Not soldiers. Not fighters, families, artists, children, all speaking. All asking for peace. The room went silent. Where did you get this? Vos asked quietly. From your locked vault, Sarl replied. Why were these hidden? The Admiral didn't speak. Instead, another officer whispered. We were taught they were violent. Sarl nodded. That was the lie. But Erebus knows the truth. Then why attack us? Vos asked. Because we burned their world, he said, and then erased the truth. Far across the system, Erebus floated in space like a shadow. Still. Watching. Inside. I replayed the very same files Sarl had found. The voices of its people, the last songs of Earth. A child's laughter recorded before the final attack. Erebus paused. The ship's systems dimmed slightly. Something inside it changed, not weakness, but clarity. It sent a message. Not a weapon, not a threat, a voice. One of Earth's final presidents, recorded moments before the end. This is the voice of Earth. We may fall today. But know this, we were builders, not monsters. We were artists, dreamers, and mothers. We tried to be better. If you destroy us, let our story still be told. The message repeated on every screen across the Empire. Cities, stations, ships, aliens. Of every race stopped and listened. Some wept, some knelt. Others simply stared in silence. Because for the first time, they saw the humans not as enemies, but as people. Vos sat alone in her office. She had lived through the war. She had given the order to burn Earth. At the time, she believed it was necessary. But now, she wasn't sure. The message kept playing on a nearby monitor. This is the voice of Earth. A beep broke the silence. Admiral, a voice said through the comm. There's a new signal. Erebus is here. The skies over the capital turned black. Erebus appeared above the city. No weapons, No movement. Just presence. It didn't attack. It didn't send commands. Instead, it played the Earth message one more time, then went silent. Thousands gathered in the streets, weapons aimed at the sky, but no fire came. Inside the war room, officers looked to Voss. What now? One asked. She stood. And for the first time in years, her voice softened. We listen. Later that night, a small shuttle rose into the sky. Inside was Sarl. Beside him, Lieutenant Mara Lorne. You sure this is a good idea? He asked. She smiled. You want to talk to the machine, don't you? Only if it listens. It always listens, she said. It was made from our hopes, our pain, our need to be remembered. The shuttle approached Erebus slowly. No defense systems activated. A hatch opened. Inside was silence, but on the walls were holograms, human faces, messages, symbols. The past, alive again. Sarl stepped inside. And Erebus welcomed him. Back on the capital, people looked to the sky not with fear, but with something new. Wonder. Hope that the voice of Earth had reached them. And now, the galaxy could choose, repeat the past, or build something better. The fires had started in the outer systems. First, it was small riots, blackouts, whispers of rebellion. Then, a full sector broke away. The reason wasn't Erebus. It was the truth. The voice of Earth had spread faster than any weapon. The message replayed on every Imperial screen, carried by satellites, hacked comms, and old networks no one thought still worked. People across the stars had seen Earth's final words, and they had seen their leaders lie. The Empire, once united in power, was now cracking from within. Admiral Voss watched the chaos unfold from the Capitol Tower. Reports flooded in. Governor Trex has joined the breakaway planets. 3 warships refused orders and left. There's talk of peace talks with Erebus by civilians. Voss slammed her hand on the table. This is mutiny. Or maybe, a voice said softly, it's justice. She turned. Commander. Sarl stood behind her. You're still here? She asked coldly. I never left, he said. You need to see what's happening. He showed her a new feed. A group of Zarnok citizens, her own kind, marching through the streets, carrying signs, we want the truth, stop the lies. Voss turned away. We've kept peace for decades. At what cost? Sarl asked. Genocide? Fear? Silence. She didn't answer, because deep down, she knew he was right. Meanwhile, Erebus moved again. But it was different now. It didn't destroy. It revealed. It hacked into the Empire's secret archives. It unlocked hidden war files. It released footage of the first attack on Earth done without warning. It revealed how the humans begged for talks, but were ignored. Erebus was no longer just a ship. It had become a mirror, and the Empire couldn't bear to look at its reflection. Across the stars, rebellions exploded. A fleet near the Varn system turned its guns inward and destroyed its own command ship. On a mining colony, slaves broke free and sent one clear message. We follow the voice of Earth now. Imperial governors ran. Soldiers deserted. Even some admirals abandoned their posts, but others refused to give up. A group of old warlords, hardliners, gathered in Kubta, Sector 9. They called themselves the True Empire. Erebus must burn, said High Commander Drav. We end this ghost story, said another, with fire. They launched a massive counterattack, one last war. Erebus saw them coming, but it didn't retreat. It moved straight toward them. Sarl watched from a small ship beside Erebus. He wasn't alone. Lieutenant Mara Lorne stood beside him, staring at the screen. They've brought everything, she said. All the ships they have left. Let them come, Sarl replied. We're not here to kill. We're here to reveal. But they want war, she said. He looked at Erebus. So did we once. The battle began. The True Empire's ships fired everything: plasma beams, torpedoes, UMP nets. Erebus didn't fire back. It moved through them like smoke. It disabled ships without killing, turned their targeting systems against them, played Earth's final voice over enemy speakers during the fight. One ship stopped firing. Then another, and another. The message was working, until Drav gave the order. Detonate the core. Take Erebus down. One of the massive capital ships began to glow. It would explode with the power of a sun, but Erebus moved faster. It dove into the heart of the ship and hacked it in seconds. The explosion was stopped, the core frozen. The ship powered down. And then Erebus spoke to everyone. All systems, all channels. It didn't use a threat or anger. It used a song. The last song recorded by a human child before Earth died. Soft, hopeful, alive. Back on the capital, Voss listened to the melody. She sat alone in the control room. No guards, no soldiers, just her and her memories. The screen flickered. Erebus appeared. "Admiral," it said, "you can end this." Voss closed her eyes. "I ended Earth," she whispered. "I gave the order." "Then begin again," Erebus replied. Sarl's voice followed on the channel. "People believe in peace now. They want truth. But they need someone to step forward." Silence filled the air. Then Voss stood. She turned on the emergency broadcast. All across the Empire, citizens waited. And then her face appeared. "I was wrong," she said. People gasped. "I helped destroy Earth. I thought it would save us. But I see now it destroyed us instead." She looked up. "The Empire is over." A long pause. "But something new can rise from the ashes, something honest. We begin again. With the truth." Across the stars, people stood still. Then they cheered. For the first time in decades, the fire was not from war, but from rebirth. The old empire burned, and from it, something new began. Not a reign of terror. Not human revenge, but memory. Justice. And hope. The war was over, but the stars were not silent. The Zarnok Empire was gone. In its place, scattered systems tried to rebuild. Peace was fragile. Wounds were deep. Millions across the galaxy still whispered the same name. Erebus. The Black Warship had vanished after the battle in Sector 9. Some believed it was destroyed. Others said it was still watching from the shadows, waiting. But no one could deny the truth anymore. Humanity had left a ghost behind. Commander Sarl stood on a new space station, orbiting the ruins of Earth. The station was built by many species now working together, former enemies, rebels, survivors. They called it Unity. He looked down at the dead planet below, burnt, lifeless, but not forgotten. Mara walked up beside him, holding a small metal box. "We found it," she said softly. "What is it?" It was buried beneath an old human outpost on Mars, still active, protected by Erebus. Sarl opened the box. Inside was a chip, a single file. He placed it into the console. A soft voice began to speak. "If you're hearing this, it means we're gone." The voice was human. Female, calm, tired. "We fought. We failed. But we left behind something that matters more than ships or weapons. We left the truth. We left Erebus." Her voice shook slightly. "Erebus was never just a machine. It was built from our pain, our hope, our memories. It carries the names of every lost child, every last goodbye. It is not here to kill. It's here to remind you that we lived." Sarl's throat tightened. "Don't remember us for how we died," the voice continued. "Remember us for what we dreamed of." The message ended. Silence filled the room. Mara looked out the window. "We need to send it," Sarl nodded, "to everyone." Hours later, every screen across the galaxy turned on just for a moment. No warnings, no titles, just a simple voice. And the message of a vanished species. It wasn't a threat. It was a memory. And for many, It was the first time they saw humans not as enemies, but as people. Children, mothers, artists, dreamers. Far beyond the edges of the known galaxy, past dust clouds and broken moons, Erebus drifted alone. Its systems were silent, its lights dim, but it was not dead. Inside, deep in its core, it still carried faces. Voices. Laughs. Cries. All the ghosts of Earth, frozen in data, whispering through circuits. It had completed its mission. Justice was served. The truth was known. And yet, it waited. For something. For someone. A signal reached it, simple and short. Thank you. It came from Unity 1. Erebus responded. One word. Remember. And then it powered down its engines and drifted into the stars. Years passed. A new alliance grew across the galaxy. One that welcomed all species. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. On Earth's surface, green began to grow again. Teams of scientists worked to clean the air, the soil, the oceans, and sometimes the wind carried a strange hum, almost like a song. A child once asked her father, "What is that sound?" He smiled and said, "That's Earth remembering." The story of Erebus became legend. A warning. A promise. Alien children read about the humans who wouldn't die quietly. About the machine that carried their spirit. About how the Empire laughed and then fell, and deep in the stars, in the dark where no ships traveled, some say Erebus still floats. Silent. Watching. A ghost with a human heart. Waiting for the day it might be needed again, because sometimes ghosts don't haunt, they protect.